Hey, so to just be clear, I know there was no July video. LBE versus Chest Rig is not out, and that is because of scheduling issues. Like I said, there is not going to be any concrete schedule for a long time. And this is a part of those reasons, because scheduling with other humans turns out to be a bitch. So I'm going to get better with that. For now, LBE versus Chest Rig, the status of it is TBA. And I will let you know the very second that it starts to record, but I'm not going to be able to give updates before that because last time I did that, there was another delay. So I'll get back to you on that one. And if you don't own a lot of land, or if you don't have a varmint problem, this video probably isn't for you. So wait until the next one. But hopefully it's still interesting to you if you want to stick around. Anyway, that's enough prologue. Go ahead and enjoy the video. You'll probably see a little bit of B-roll, maybe. Hey, I'm back out here in these hills. And today I have a different weapon here. That's because I wanted to talk to you about something a little different. And today, what we're going to be talking about is 22 rifles, 17.2, and how to efficiently hunt and get varmint. So let's go somewhere where I can more easily show you this piece. Okay, so this is my Remington 597. You'll see that it has a weapon light, a foregrip, and generally we like to call it foldy around here, and that is because there's one uniform motion that you'll see a lot of parts of it doing. And that is because of my philosophy for a varmint rifle. Let's talk about that a little. Well, firstly, of course, you're not going to want a huge caliber. You're going to want something that can kill them pretty easily, cheaply, and humanely, of course. And the easiest ones to do that with are 22 Magnum, and 17 HMR. Now, 22 WMR, usually you will find in pistols, so that is for a varmint sidearm. I didn't bring one up here with me because it's pretty simple compared to the varmint rifle I have set up here. So, caliber is pretty simple. We will talk about deployment, what is important in that, and how to go about setting one of these up too. And might also touch on different varmints and how to kill them. Actually, we'll do that first. We'll talk about what defines a varmint. And what I believe defines a varmint is basically small game that is a nuisance to you. So I guess it's more vermin, but I don't really hunt, so to me it means the same thing. A varmint could be anything between a squirrel, a snake might apply depending on your definition, and particularly in my use case, raccoons and possums are the two biggest varmints that I fight on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, raccoons and possums are the main varmint that I usually try to kill. And then it goes from there to rats and snakes. And then squirrels sometimes. Usually I don't have to bother with the squirrels because my cats actually do a lot of the rats and squirrels for me. That's another good thing about varmints, is that if you have really good, just like wild cats around, that'll deal with some of the problem for you. But bigger threats like raccoons and possums, they'll need to go yourself. So that's going to be what we mainly talk about today. So deployment. However deployable you consider your home defense rifle. So let's consider your home defense rifle to be the average of how a gun should be deployable. You can allow your varmint rifle or your varmint pistol to be kind of deployable. It doesn't need to be that fast. It's just a fat raccoon, and it can be stowed pretty simply and compactly. because it's just a 22, like this one. It can fold away easily, be stored on a pegboard in my closet, and to get to it, I just need to get into the closet, pick it up off the pegboard, and then fold it on out, and we're good. And then I can go kill whatever's in my yard, trying to eat my crops or bite my cats or whatever. In terms of cost, a varmint rifle can be put together pretty cheaply. The most expensive part of this rifle is probably the TLR1, and that is because usually they come out at night. So let's get into how to set one up. So you can have one fold out, but if space doesn't matter too much to you, like it's just another number, then it doesn't have to be very compact. You can build one of these full size pretty easily, and it would be fine. But I think the most important part of a varmint rifle is the ability to put a weapon light, because most varmints that you will have to deal with are going to come out at nighttime. I have never really encountered possums or raccoons or anything like that in the day. It's always been at night when I have to go get them. So there's that. High capacity is preferred because if they start to run, you want to be able to, of course, take them out. If it's like just a slow moving raccoon or something and they haven't noticed you, it won't matter as much. Like I've been able to take out a raccoon with just a 6-shot Heritage Rough Rider before, and it was fine. In terms of magnification and optic, I have a 3-9 on here, which used to be more common. Now it's mainly just for hunting purposes, which I guess this is a form of hunting, so sure. And this works pretty well. Because it's a 22, you can kind of cheap out on the optic, because it's not going to matter as much if you have, Japanese level glass quality or anything like that. It's just a 22. It's just a rimfire or a 17 or whatever. The main problem you'll run into is that reliability. When looking for a 22 that is both like usable and reliable, the main problem that you'll run into is that second part, reliability. Because 22s aren't that great, actually. 17s are a whole different ballpark. Good luck finding a really nice, safe semi-auto in 17 HMR. I can't. But the Marlin XM17 is a pretty good bolt action for what it is. That can definitely take out a squirrel or a larger species of varmint if it really has to. But the problem with things like that you're going to run into is slow fire rate and also capacity. Not a lot of bolt actions bother having high capacity, like this 30-round mag here sticking out of this 5.97. But of course, if you can't get high capacity, it's not that big of a deal. You just have to have a lot of mags. Because let's say you're in a bad jurisdiction, you're not going to be able to get this. But the flush fit 5.97 mags, for example, that are 10 rounds, they're good, they're reliable, they just don't have as much, so you might need to get more of those. This particular gun isn't threaded. I would prefer a threaded rifle because suppressing it with like a Hux Flow would be very nice and a lot easier to hunt just in the middle of the night with neighbors. Because I have a lot of land up here, but we still have neighbors that I have to worry about waking up at night. So if you can suppress, if your jurisdiction allows it and you have the money and you have the rifle that allows you to, go ahead and suppress it. I mean, a Hux Flow really isn't that much nowadays. At least for 22, of course. I mean, it gets up there for 5.56, but for just a varmint rifle, throw a suppressor on there. They're cheap. Oh, and by the way, I'm sure a red dot will work fine depending on the varmint rifle and depending on how close the varmint is. I just like to have some magnification because up these hills, especially at night, it's hard to see with just a red dot taking up your vision. So I like to have weapon light and then a crosshair magnified optic for that purpose. Usually you don't need a lot of storage on a varmint rifle because usually you're just running out of your house to use it. This C7A2 grip from Cadex comes with some battery storage, but I never use it because I don't need extra batteries. I can just go inside and get more batteries. The one exception to that is if you're building a varmint rifle to go on the side of a ruck for preparedness. In that case, keep some storage on it, because if you're putting this on the side of the ruck and then forgetting about it, and maybe you're leaving something on, maybe you're not, having that extra storage is going to be good for you, because that'll allow it to sustain itself more. And you won't have to over encumber yourself, so to speak, with more batteries in your packs or in your pouches and whatnot. In terms of ammunition for hunting varmint, I found that it doesn't matter because they're all small. And if you hit them in the head, it's usually not going to make much of a difference because they are varmint and they are kind of weak in the animal kingdom, at least. So you can hit them with just these CCI standards and they will likely drop. And if they don't, that's why you have the magazine. In terms of actually getting to them and killing them, I myself haven't found a good way to track them or anything like that. The main time that I ever bother killing varmint is when they come onto my porch or they are in my yard and I already see them. Usually I don't come to them, they come to me. And that's how that kind of goes. And from there, once I see them, I quickly get to my room. I get this out of my closet and I fold it out. And I go get the varmint. See, folding it out isn't really that hard. You just have to be ready to do it. Oh, and if you're looking up the Remington 597 and wondering, like, this looks so different, look up the Pro Mag folding stock for this and you'll see. There are some AR-15 chassis or AR-15 style chassis for these kinds of 22s. So like a 1022 or a 597 or something like that. Do not bother. If you're going to get an AR-15 in 22, get like the M&P 15 or that one at HK made by an airsoft company. It's kind of snake oil, to be honest, because this works just fine. It's a 22 self-loader that looks like a 22 self-loader, to quote Jonathan Ferguson. In terms of a varmint pistol, I know I talked about that earlier, you can be more forgiving for not really setting one up, because a varmint pistol, most of them won't have much you can do to them. If you count the TX-22 as a varmint pistol, then sure, you can put an optic and a light on it, but that's not really required. I mean, like I said, I have a completely stock Heritage Rough Rider with a 22 Magnum cylinder, and that works fine. Another gun I have is a Chiappa 1911 22, and I recently got that working pretty well, and depending on how it performs against varmint themselves, I might end up switching to that for a varmint sidearm, if I don't have the time to grab this one and go. The main problem with the varmint revolvers, for example, is that if you take more than 10 shots, or 6 shots, sorry, and you have to reload, then it's going to be hard to do that while a varmint is running away. So let's say there's 2 possums, you take out one or you whiff a few shots and you have to reload. By the time you are 3 rounds in, the other possum is going to be running away. Now, of course, this problem is a little hyperbolic because a lot of the time, varmints, like, at least possums and raccoons, like my main problem is, they aren't going to travel in big groups. So, like I said, it's probably fine to just have a revolver and call that your varmint gun. All of this is just extra steps to make sure that I can do it. So today was a little bit of a shorter video, I will admit, but that's okay. Not everything has to be long. I mean, I could maybe try and come up with a few more talking points about varmints, but there's really no purpose. Varmints are simple creatures, and they go down easy, which is why all you need is a 22. If you have something like just a Marlin Model 60, for example, then that's fine. I mean, it's a 22 semi-auto that has a simple, easy reload, and it doesn't take up too much space. That's fine. I mean, a revolver is fine. A bolt action is fine. What's most important is that you train with your weapon, and you make sure that is the right tool for the job. So, I think that's going to be it for now. Y'all have a good day, and don't let the wires in your attic get chewed up by varmint. Let's go.